Good morning, welcome to morning review on Monday the 3rd of October. So looking at the euro dollar first, and well, Friday ended up quite bright with this big hammer in there and closing towards back in towards that daily 500 MA, which it seems to have been flirting with for a long time. So whether or not it can close above it, it did it once in the early stages back in August there, not managed to do so since. It close above that, perhaps we may be seeing a bit of a turn and a bit more continuation, but otherwise we're still sitting in this wedge pattern. So looking at the 4 hourlies, well, there's some decent movement on Friday in the end, and well, it's at the moment it's looking like a little flaggy sort of pattern, possibly here maybe shows slightly better in the hourlies, but the hourlies are chopping away at the moment. If we can get a break of the highs there, maybe we'll push up and we'll get above that daily 500 MA and push on up. Looking at what else is there, there's weekly pivots right on daily pivots below us actually, so could still come down for that daily pivot below us with a combination of 200 etc. May get a bounce off that area depending on the pattern, the shape of it at the time, but may give us a bounce to the downside there. Looking elsewhere was the the weekly pivot's way down. Is that right? Goodness, let me just check on the weekly. Sorry, it's a weekly pivot that's close below us. Just catch where the pivots are. Well, the monthly. Oh, we're on the monthly pivot, so that's fine. The monthly pivot. Oh, big pardon. I see all three of them together now. That's all right. I was looking at the wrong pivot there. So weekly pivot just fractionally below us, and daily pivot. So we've got two pivots below us. It may just want to break down and catch both of those quite quickly this week. But then I'd be looking potentially still alongside. I'm more interested really if we can break this trend line. Looking at the pound. Well, the pound sold off a little bit, probably with Theresa May's comments at the Conservative Party's meeting. They just finally put a date there, or a closer date for the starting the exit of Europe properly. Now, sold off quite a bit there through the Asian session. It's not really a gap as such, but there is a gap on the 4 hourlies by looks of things. So there is a bit of a gap to fill potentially. Now, just looking at this, we've certainly got the weekly and monthly pivots above us. So there is some potential for the upside. But at the moment, I think with the news coming out, well, we've already hit the S1. We're flying down at the moment. And perhaps we've got more downside. We'll see how the morning settles a little bit. It's not even diverging on this alley, but it has got the gap, and often these gaps are filled quite quickly. So if this gap is just about everywhere, I'm just having a look at another chart, an hourly chart of cable at the moment. Yep, got the gap on there as well. Different broker data. So yeah, we've certainly got a gap there to fill. So at some point that may come around, but at the moment it's looking weak with the weekly pivots, daily pivots above us. We have got the monthly pivot, so there's plenty to chase for if it can start moving up, particularly with a gap. But at the moment it's looking weak, and it needs to do something to give me a proper sort of reversal of this current bar. Okay, dollar yen, missed this on Friday. Don't know what's going on. At the moment, well, looking weakish. I say weakish, it's consolidated on the dailies here somewhat. Selling off somewhat to just looking at what's going on and selling off, heading back down to the weekly at the moment, and this could be a sort of a opportunity that's sitting there this morning. It starts continuing this sort of strengthening here. If it can push down towards that weekly, maybe will give us a target early morning. Thing to bear in mind, we have got the monthly pivot above us. We call the daily, so that's out of the way. But well, there is the potential for the weekly, maybe a bit more. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar. Well, the Aussie dollar's sat low. Air kissed its. Just looking at air kissed the previous month, sitting up again. Previous month, the current month rather, on this previous bar, really in a sense. Did it all on Friday, but stroke Sunday. At the moment, it's looking bullish. Got the pivot, the week, monthly pivot below us. Weekly pivot it's already caught. So it's quite consolidated last week. No surprises there. Looking erring on the bullish side again here, and it may be a bit like last week. If we can get a break of this sort of level here, maybe we could be pushing back towards its daily R1 sort of area. Monthly pivot below, which any sell-off and any break of the um, pivots here, daily pivots, could see it coming down towards that. But at the moment, erring slightly towards the bullish side with this sort of flag pattern going on the alleys. Finally, Canadian dollar, you know what we're going to do. I'll look at the oil first. The oil's pushing up a little bit again here. Good few days last week, and although there's indecision or whatever else about oil, and there's I think some of the quotas, suggestions that the quotas, the cuts may not affect the stock for a while. It's still still edging back towards that $50 barrel at the moment. Now we have got the monthly pivots below us, the weekly pivots below us, and probably the daily pivot will be pretty close to where we are, I should imagine. Yeah, it's already been hit, but we've certainly got a couple of pivots below, which statistically have an opportunity of being hit. But for now, it's erring more bullishness than anything else. Let's just flick across now, look at the Canadian dollar, which we should see this coming off, if this is the case. It's looking at the Canadian dollar here, and it's, it came off a bit on Friday. We've got the monthly pivot below us, which gives us an easy-ish target. If it starts coming off, there's a bit of a trend line running across. Let's just get that on there. Across the lows here, roughly there-ish. Could probably be drawn a bit better. Might be a tighter one, but that may give us a bit of a signal that it's a little bit more likely to come off. The only confusion, there is a weekly pivot above us, so it's whether or not it runs to the weekly first, but I think we'll get a bit of a signal to which direction it'll be moving. In fact, it's just easier to draw across here, look. So could be selling off that, running down towards that monthly pivot. So that would really signal a bearish sign on the dollar CAD for me. At the moment, it's chopping, and it chops for long times on Friday without any direction. So I just need to sit and wait and see if that's going to give anything. Okay, that's it for me. Have a great one. Bye for now.